You already told everyone in the room how to beat you before you said a single word. Your shoulders dropped when the numbers came up. Your eyes flicked to the door when the tension rose. Your voice rose half an octave when you lied about being fine. Everyone saw it. Everyone but you. You were taught that emotional intelligence means listening more, caring more, softening your edges until you disappear into the furniture. That is not intelligence. That is surrender, dressed up as virtue. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Most people in every room you enter are broadcasting exactly what they feel in real time and calling it authenticity. You are about to stop being one of them. Real emotional intelligence is not about feeling more. It is about feeling first and revealing last. It is the ability to read the current under the surface of a room while your own face gives away nothing. The people who run boardrooms, negotiations, and family dinners were never the loudest voice in them. They were the ones nobody could read. Here is the dare. By the end of this, you will know exactly how the dominant people in every room you have ever entered do it. And you will know why you were never one of them. Some of you will not be ready for the last part. There is one signal every person who controls a room refuses to give. We are getting there. But you have work to do first. Phase 1. The read. Before you can control a room, you have to see it. Not the words being said, but the traffic underneath them. Every room runs 2 conversations at once. One out loud, one in the body. You have spent your whole life listening to the first and ignoring the second. And that is why rooms have been running you instead of the other way around. Watch the hands. A person who believes what they are saying keeps their hands open, low, still. A person who is bluffing tightens their grip on whatever is nearest, a pen, a coffee cup, the edge of a table. Watch the throat, not the mouth. A swallow before a sentence is a tell. A pause after a question is a tell. You have been trained to hear only the sentence. Start hearing the half-second before it. The poker player who wins the table is never the one with the best cards. He is the one who never blinks when he has nothing and never smiles when he has everything. The amateur across from him leans forward on a strong hand and leans back on a weak one, and never once notices he has been doing it his whole life. You have a tell like that. You have had it since childhood. Somebody in every room you enter has already found it. Researchers who study micro-expressions, the flashes of true feeling that cross a face in under half a second, found that almost no one is trained to see them, and almost no one is trained to hide them either. That is your opening. Contempt shows first at the corner of the mouth. Fear shows first at the eyebrows. Reads take practice, not magic. But most people never even try, because they were taught that watching people that closely is somehow rude. Here's what the emotionally broke, never see. The room already told you who is bluffing, who is scared, who is about to fold. You just were not listening at the frequency it broadcasts on. This is not about being suspicious of everyone. This is not about turning every conversation into an interrogation. This is not about becoming paranoid. This is about finally seeing the room in full resolution instead of the cropped, polite version everyone agrees to pretend is real. Phase 2. The mask. Now flip the mirror around, because reading the room means nothing if the room is still reading you for free. You perform your feelings the moment you have them. Your face tightens when you are insulted. Your voice speeds up when you are unsure. You laugh a half-second too late when a joke lands wrong. And everyone in the room clocks it, files it, and uses it against you later without even meaning to. You call this being genuine. It is actually just being predictable. And predictable people get spent, not respected. Machiavelli wrote that it is much safer to be feared than loved, and the version of that rule that survives into a modern conference room is simpler. It is much safer to be unreadable than likable. The person everyone likes is the person everyone thinks they already understand. The person nobody can read is the person everyone eventually defers to, because uncertainty about a person reads, subconsciously, as authority. Picture the co-worker who has been at the company 20 years, agreeable, well-liked, always smiling, and still reports to a manager 10 years younger who joined last spring. Likability was never the currency. Unpredictability, controlled and quiet, is. This does not mean you become a wall. A wall gets ignored too. It means every signal you give off becomes a choice instead of a leak. You choose when to look surprised. You choose when to look moved. You choose when to let your voice catch. The untrained face leaks emotion in real time, like a cup with a crack in it. The trained face releases emotion on command, like a door that only opens from the inside. Stay with me, because this is where most people flinch and go back to old habits. Practicing this feels fake at first. It is not fake. It is the difference between a soldier who is trained to stay calm under fire and a civilian who has never heard a gunshot. Both of them feel fear. Only one of them lets the room see it. Start small. In your next disagreement, delay your reaction by 2 full seconds before you respond. That gap is where your power lives. The person who reacts first reveals the most. The person who waits is the one the room starts watching. Phase 3. The silence. Here is the part they never teach you in any communication class. The person who talks first after a hard question has already lost leverage, whether they realize it or not. Think about the negotiation table. Someone names a number. The room goes quiet. Every fiber in your body screams to fill that silence, to soften the number, to explain yourself, to apologize for asking. That instinct is not politeness. That instinct is fear wearing a nice outfit, and it will cost you every time you obey it. Machiavelli warned that there is no avoiding war. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others. Every negotiation, every hard conversation, every tense family dinner is a small war, whether you admit it or not. The side that treats silence as a weapon wins the war before a shot is fired. The side that treats silence as an emergency has already surrendered the room. You have done this. You have asked for a raise and filled the pause with 3 reasons you do not deserve it. You have set a boundary and then apologized for setting it in the same breath. You handed the other side your leverage, gift-wrapped, before they even asked for it. This is fear, not weakness. Fear of a beat too long. Fear of looking cold. Fear of being disliked for 4 uncomfortable seconds. But it gets worse. The room can smell that fear, and it recalibrates around it instantly. The moment you flinch first, everyone present quietly downgrades what they think you are worth. The fix is almost embarrassingly simple, and almost no one does it. After you say the hard thing, stop talking. Let the silence sit. Count to 5 in your head if you have to. The other side will either fill it and hand you information, or they will match it. and you will have just been treated, for the first time in that room, as an equal. If you are done letting silence terrify you into giving away the room, comment the word "still" below this video right now. I want to see who is actually ready to change and who is just watching. Subscribe before we go further, because the next phase is where most people quietly realize they have been the easiest person in every room to read, and it does not stay comfortable from here. Phase 4. The bait. Once you can read the room and mask your own signals, the next move is not defense. It is bait. A calm person in a tense room is not neutral. A calm person in a tense room is a mirror that makes everyone else's anxiety visible, including to themselves. Stay still and quiet while everyone else escalates, and you will watch people expose exactly what they are hiding, simply because your silence gives them nowhere else to project their nerves except onto themselves. Now watch how the game actually works. At the party, the loudest person in the room, the one cracking jokes, refilling everyone's glass, working the crowd, that person has no real power there. They need the room's approval too badly to ever be feared by it. The quiet person in the corner, the one who barely speaks and leaves early, is the one 3 different people quietly text about the next morning, asking what they thought. Attention is not power. Being sought out after you have already left the room is power. You do this by refusing to compete for airtime. In a meeting where 2 people are arguing loudly over who is right, the person who says the least and says it last and says it calmly is remembered as the only adult in the room. This is not manipulation of the vulnerable. This is not deception for personal gain. This is not luck. This is patience, applied like a scalpel instead of wasted like a hammer. The wolf does not chase the herd across the whole field. The wolf lies still at the tree line and studies which one strays, which one limps, which one has already separated itself through its own carelessness. Then it moves once. You have spent your whole life running at every room like the herd runs from danger, loud, reactive, exhausting yourself before the moment that actually matters. Learn to lie still instead. Let the room reveal its weak points to you for free. This is the freedom nobody tells you about. Not freedom from other people's emotions, you will still feel them. Freedom from being ruled by the need to react to them instantly. The person who can feel the temperature of a room rising and choose not to rise with it is no longer being run by anyone in that room. They are running it. Phase 5. The room after the room. Here is what almost no one tells you about meetings, negotiations, or family conflicts. The real decision rarely happens in the room. It happens in the hallway afterward, in the 2 or 3 people who stayed a beat longer, who said less inside and more outside, who were trusted enough to be pulled aside once the audience left. You have watched this happen and mistaken it for office politics. It is not politics. It is the natural result of who the room trusted enough in the moment to read accurately. The loud arguers get remembered as loud. The people who stayed composed under pressure get remembered as safe to talk to when it actually matters, which is always after the meeting, never during it. This is the aspiration underneath everything we have covered. Imagine walking into any room, a boardroom, a first date, a family holiday that always turns into a fight, already knowing who is bluffing, already in full control of your own face, already comfortable inside silence that would terrify anyone else at the table. You are not trying to win the loud argument anymore. You have stopped needing to. You are simply the person the room quietly organizes itself around once the noise dies down. Picture the family dinner every year that turns into the same argument about money or politics or who did what to whom years ago. One person every single year says almost nothing, changes no one's mind out loud, and is somehow the only person every other relative calls afterward to ask what they really thought. That person did not win the argument. They were never in it. They were reading it. And in every one of those rooms, that is the only position of real, lasting power. This next move separates the owners of a room from the people merely occupying it. If you are ready to stop being occupied, comment the word unreadable below this video. I want to know who is actually building this, not just watching it. Because what comes next is the one signal we promised you at the very beginning. The one thing every person who has ever dominated a room refuses to give away. Most people quit right before this part. Stay with me. Phase 6. The unblinking. Here is the signal. The one thing every person who has ever controlled a room permanently refuses to give away. They never let anyone see the exact moment something lands. Not the insult, not the offer, not the threat, not even the compliment. You can throw your best line, your hardest fact, your most generous praise at someone who has mastered this, and their face will not move on your timeline. It will move later, on their own terms, if it moves at all. That half-second delay between something landing and a reaction showing is the most expensive skill in this entire video. And it is also the one thing that separates people who are merely good at reading rooms from people who actually run them. Most people give this away for free, dozens of times a day, to anyone paying attention. A flinch at the insult, a widened eye at the offer, a held breath before the threat. Every one of those is a door left open. Someone is always checking whether it is unlocked. You do not close that door by feeling less. That is the lie the loud, exhausted version of emotional intelligence sold you for years. Feel everything, share everything, wear it all on your face because hiding feelings is supposedly unhealthy. Feel everything. Just stop paying it out in real time to people who have not earned the information. This is generational. The parent who cannot hold a single uncomfortable silence raises a child who has never learned to sit with discomfort either, who folds under the first hard conversation of their adult life because no one in that house ever showed them it could be survived quietly. The parent who can hold the room, hold the silence, hold their own face, passes down something rarer than money. They pass down composure. The child can actually keep in every room for the rest of their life. You are not doing this to become cold to the people you love. You are doing this so the people who do not love you, who are only in the room to find your price or your weak point, cannot find it in under a second the way they always have. There is a difference between a closed heart and a controlled face. And almost no one in your life has ever taught you where that line is. This is the whole trade. This is not about tricking people. This is not about lying about who you are. This is not about becoming someone cruel. This is about deciding for the first time when the truest parts of you get spent, and on whom. Picture yourself 6 months from now, walking into the room that used to make your stomach drop. The review, the negotiation, The family dinner with the same argument waiting at the table. Your pulse is calm. Your face gives up nothing it has not agreed to give up. You are watching three separate people in that room reveal exactly what they are afraid of, and none of them know they are doing it. You used to be the easiest read in every room you entered. You are not anymore. That comes at a price. You will feel, for a while, like you are performing a version of yourself instead of living as one. Good. That discomfort is the tax on becoming someone the room cannot immediately price. You will lose the easy warmth of being an open book to people who never deserved to read you that closely in the first place. And you will gain something almost no one around you has. A face and a silence that belong to you alone. The version of you that flinches first fills every silence and hands out your real reactions for free to strangers who have not earned them has to die today. Not the caring part of you, not the part that loves people, just the part that leaked everything before you had decided whether it was safe to. There is more past this. The specific moves for reading a room in the first 90 seconds of walking into it. How to plant a controlled reaction on purpose so someone reveals their hand chasing it. The exact difference between silence that reads as weak and silence that reads as dangerous. That is too sharp to hand out on the open feed. It goes to the people who prove they are already doing the work in this one. If you are done being the easiest read in every room you walk into, comment the word unblinking below right now. I want to see who is serious. Subscribe, not as a favor to me, as the first thing you do with the version of yourself that no longer leaks for free.